What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Woodward Bets back in the house on a Thursday night. Back here with my boy Scott. Plenty of sports to talk here. We got baseball playoffs going on, 3-game slate in the NBA that we'll cover and get you some bets from. And, of course, Thursday night football. Now, Scott, not the most exciting game out there, but we will cover it nonetheless. Showdown slates on DraftKings, FanDuel, bets on Underdog. We're going to talk more about Underdog here and, of course, our best bets here of the night. So let me get to my boy Scott. Scott, how is your Thursday going, and how'd Wednesday night treat you?
Man, it's been a good Thursday. I tell you what, I won some lunch money off your picks last night. So headed down to took the little drive in the car and went to Mr. 8.7 Dave Portnoy Pizza review guy, Freddie, down there in Melvindale, and had a delicious large pizza and a little bit of goulash. So kudos to you on that hot night, as I put up here in my thing here, the only place we like hot beer.
Yeah, it was a pretty good night, and those are the ones we're shooting for here on Woodward Bets. Hit 3 of the 4 best bets I gave out last night. I know you've hit some single-game parlays, which are fun, and big-time payouts. So let's stay hot. You're only as good as today. So we put that behind us. Too bad I didn't get to indulge in a little Freddy's pizza with you today, but maybe down the line we'll hook up, and I'm waiting to try it. I've heard great things. Obviously, the review from Barstool was big and really blew it up, but it's been kind of a secret around here for a long time. Not much of a secret anymore. Definitely want to get down there, but let's get some of the housekeeping out of the way. Make sure you're following our Twitter page at Woodward Bets, and we want to hear your sit-start questions, your trade questions. We want to help you out. We both play in a ton of leagues. I play in way too many leagues. Don't ask how many. I don't even know how many at this point. It's a lot, but I promise you we can help you out. So send those questions to us. Each and every Friday we'll cover those live on the air. So if you're in a jam, there's bye weeks here. This week is tough, Scott. There's a lot of bye weeks, a lot of injuries to navigate. So let us help you out at Woodward Bets on Twitter. Make sure you're following the network as well at Woodward Sports. Tons of great content there. And want to say thank you to our sponsor and get you guys over there, Underdog Fantasy. If you haven't tried it, what are you waiting for? Just tons of great games over there. Best ball drafts, prop drafts, all types of different fun over there for NFL, NBA, MLB, hockey. There's everything at Underdog Fantasy. So what we're going to do, we're going to hook you up with a free $10. Use our promo code WSN. All you have to do is deposit 10. You're going to get a free $10 using that promo code. Again, that's promo code WSN as in Woodward Sports Network at Underdog Fantasy. All right, Scott, let's get into it again. Last night was good to us. Playoffs, we saw some big games in MLB, a couple blowouts there. It was fun to get the NBA started off. Huge slate of games. You needed about 1 million points to take anything down on FanDuel or DraftKings last night. So a crazy night. So what are we looking at here for today? Let's kind of set the stage for Thursday.
Yeah, last night I think the guy who won the tournament had 452 points. That is
massive.
Yeah, that's just that you don't see normally. You just don't normally see stuff like that. But normally you get over 320, 330, you're in a good spot. And I actually, when I was driving to Freddy's, I had a buddy go with me and he was showing his team. He had like a 338 score and didn't even cash. That's like, ouch. But yeah, just, kind of excited. I did watch some baseball last night, and damn, Sale came out and pitched a lot better than I thought he would coming out of the game. Even though he did get hammered that one inning, I think they kind of stretched him out a little too much. I think, they kept pressing that kept pressing that button, and finally that balloon popped. But I did enjoy that game. And then, looks like the Dodgers again are down 3-1. Let's not forget they were down last year the same, and actually came back and won that series. So, man, they like to play it dangerous, that's for sure. So now their back is against the wall, and I know they have a crazy record in elimination games in the last few years. But I'll tell you what, Chris, I really think that pitching staff there is wore out. I think Max, he's already admitted his arm's dead. You got Urias. This has been getting beat up. His ERA's over 10. I just think they're in a lot of trouble. I think the Braves got a lot of confidence, and I wouldn't doubt if they don't close them out. So kind of looking forward to watching that. Let's see what the Dodgers got, what they're made of. They got a lot of talent on that team, so it's kind of interesting when you watch baseball teams when they know they can't lose. The focus is really there. So I want to see how the Dodgers come out tonight.
Yep, just that one island game tonight. Atlanta at the Dodgers kicks off here in a couple hours. So we'll have some best bets. We'll save that for the end of the show. I got a bet I really like in that game, but we'll save that for our last segment. Also have NFL tonight. Not the sexiest of games here, Scott. So let's start. Actually, let's start with the NBA. Let's have a little NBA talk here. Then we'll get into some NFL. We'll update the injuries and look at some lines, see if anything's changing there. And then we'll finish up with our best bets. So just a 3-game slate here tonight. We mentioned big-time scores last night in the NBA. You're talking about your buddy. And, yeah, it was, you thought you had some good scores, and then they started hitting 375, 400, 450. Like, you just needed some of them big games. I think the biggest one was Jaylen Brown just going absolutely nuts in that game with the Knicks. I think that game went to double overtime. Scored like 75 FanDuel points at like 2% ownership. He was questionable all day. I wasn't sure he was going to play. Last minute, he's playing. So one of those plays, it shows those low-owned plays can certainly make a difference. But a ton of different guys got you there. A lot of the guys we gave out yesterday, pretty good performances. So excited here for this 3-gamer. Again, it's a little different animal with the 3-gamer than when you get those 10, 11 games. It's not quite like the 2-gamers. 3, a little bit different. You have a few more options, but definitely play it a little bit different. So we have Dallas and Atlanta kind of leading things off here. Atlanta -2.5 here at home. Obviously, this one to me says Trae Young against Luka. They're always paired together. They were drafted together. Did this team make a mistake? Should Atlanta have gone with Luka? Trae Young is pretty damn good in his own right. So this one, an interesting game, Scott. Any thoughts on this one here?
Just kind of looking at what I like to do. I'm not claiming to be the best NBA guy. I know you have much more knowledge than me, but I will tell you what I do like generally. So, as we go through these games, I like to hit the optimizers. I got like maybe 4 or 5 of them. I kind of like to get an idea, and it's generally like a stars and scrubs generally type build when you're looking at a lot of these optos. So I kind of like to take advantage of stuff like that. So I like to look at some of these low price guys that keep popping in some of these optimizers. So, you mentioned Dallas and Atlanta, and really, the only thing I see is like a Jalen Brunson, somebody like that. Maybe like a Porzingis is like a middle type guy, but I do see Jalen Brunson popping on a lot of these optos as a low price guy. Is that somebody you like, or because I see that kind of stuff, and then I kind of read their minutes and stuff like that. But sometimes these guys are just overvalued. But if you nail these, man, you hit your stars. You're generally looking good.
Yeah, on a normal 8, 9, 10 game slate, we're probably not talking Jalen Brunson, but these are the kind of plays you want to try to dig out on a 3-gamer. Guys that are, yes, cheap, and a guy that not a lot of people are going to go to. I just don't see him being in high demand. So, he may be 25, 30% owned, but I don't think he's going to get 50, 60. Sometimes you get guys that can be 70% owned on small slates like this. So I don't hate him. I think Dwight Powell is a guy that can provide some value there for Dallas. You mentioned Porzingis. And then I always love to pair my point guards, so I know it's expensive. These are 2 guys that are going to go head-to-head. And Trae Young has something to prove here in this matchup. Luka as well. So, again, very expensive to start your lineup with Luka and Trae. But I do think there is a lot of value on the rest of this slate. So that one interesting. So I like that pairing there. Again, we'll save the best bets for the end of the show. The next game, we got the Bucks traveling to Miami to take on the Heat. Now, this one opened up Milwaukee -1.5. It has swung to Miami -1.5. Total sitting at 223. We obviously are waiting the news on Drew Holiday. Is he going to play or not here tonight? I think that's what kind of swung the line here. But leaving that last game early, I think is a big blow here to Milwaukee. So, Miami making their debut here. Obviously, the big addition was Kyle Lowry to this squad. So what's popping off from a DFS perspective here in this one, Scott?
Well, a guy that I actually used the other day when I told you that I won a little bit of lunch money, and that was Jordan Nowara. I believe I'm saying that right. But for the Bucks, it seems like he's been popping off, and so does Sandro. I'm not even going to try to say that last name, Mama Kusha
Yeah,
Lafayette. I couldn't
I'm
even
not.
begin to
Yeah,
say that.
good luck.
Yeah, right. I thought my last name was a doozy. And then George Hill seems to be popping on quite a bit. And then Jimmy Butler, he's a guy that and Bam, those are a few guys that seem to be popping off on a few things. But Jordan is a low price guy. He helped me the other night. So I really like him in a spot like this, just from just recency bias and like I said, he helped me out quite a bit the other night. So kind of like that spot there.
And Drew Holiday is officially out. I guess he was questionable last time I looked, but he has been ruled out. So yeah, George Hill, very familiar with the system, kind of left. He's back. I think he's decent value here. You mentioned, I think it's Jordan Nwora. I always said Nwora too, but generally when there's that N in front, you just it's kind of become silent. So I'm going to go with Jordan Nwora, and we'll see which one's right. But yeah, he looked good. A guy we talked about the other day. It was very productive in preseason. I've compared him to Christian Wood, a guy the Bucks had, a guy that came on in the preseason. They just weren't able to ever find Christian Wood minutes. He goes off to Detroit, and we know the rest is history. Great young player. So I think Nwora provides that same level of upside. Obviously can never go wrong with a guy like Giannis, Jimmy Butler on the other side. Some value in this game. Grayson Allen played a ton of minutes for the Bucks. Pat Connaughton was red hot in that game. So I think the Bucks, a place you can certainly look for some value as well. Last game on the docket, Scott, we got the Clippers and Golden State. The Warriors coming off that big win in LA against the Lakers. Clippers making their debut here this season. So again, what plays are standing out here in this one?
Maybe Zubac for the Clippers. He's kind of coming out on a few, but really not too much showing out. Maybe obviously Curry's always a guy that you could look at playing, but really only Curry and Zubac is the only two that are really popping out.
Yeah, I love Curry in this spot. It was huge the other night, triple-double in that game. So I think he's another one. Again, we're giving you three expensive point guards here. So you're not going to be able to choose them all. Obviously, if you choose the Trae Young, Luka pairing, you could try to fit Steph as well in your utility spot. Don't hate that with some of the value. Again, Milwaukee, a good source of value. Gave you Dwight Powell, Jalen Brunson as options. Zubac is cheap. Jordan Poole is still very cheap. Just 5,500 on DraftKings, so he could be an option. Damian Lee's only 3,600. We saw him play some decent minutes in that game. So there are ways to do it. Even Luke Kennard, former Piston, at just 3,300 on DraftKings. It could be interesting tonight. So, but love Steph Curry in the spot. I agree. Those are the main studs I want. Are those 3 point guards tonight? Luka, Trae, and Steph Curry. All right, we'll be back with best bets in the NBA towards the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. Scott, let's get into the NFL here. Let's talk tonight's game. We'll update injuries and all that afterwards, but kind of a down game here tonight. We got Cleveland with no Baker Mayfield, no Nick Chubb, no Kareem Hunt, potentially no Odell Beckham. Now you do get the return of Jarvis Landry. The problem is you got Case Keenum throwing him the rock on the Denver side. Teddy Bridgewater and company. So not the most exciting game, not what we've seen over the last couple weeks, but what do we see? Let's just give kind of a general overview here of this game. How do you think this one plays out? Then we'll get in some fantasy plays and maybe some best bets here from this game. What do you got?
Just kind of looking at the game. I mean, when you first look it through the window here, you're thinking, oh, this is going to be an ugly type game. But the more I thought about it, Case Keenum does have some NFL experience. Yes, I mean he's not like he's tearing the lights out, but I mean he's a guy that could get you by for a game or two. We don't know how many. He didn't ever seem a guy to really push the issue. He just seemed to be a guy that would just get you there. Nothing special. So, we got Landry coming back. We're gonna have Higgins. They got Donovan Peoples-Jones. Of course, we know they got 2 decent tight ends that are going to be able to run some routes for him. So. The good news for the Browns is as many injuries they have, it is reported that they're supposed to get both their tackles back too. So that's supposed to help them out quite a bit. And then on the note for Denver, they lost 2 of their linebackers that they started the season with, inside linebackers, and they've been kind of getting beat up. here recently, not as stout as they were to kind of start the season off. So I wouldn't doubt if the Browns score. And then, of course, with Bridgewater, I think both quarterbacks are capable of maybe turning the ball over, maybe getting us a pick, maybe we get some shorter fields. And then I really like Sutton in this game. Sutton's been a really kind of a quiet type guy that's he's top of the leaderboards, a lot of receiving categories. I just think Sutton is in a great spot here. So he's a guy that I'm going to try to start. And I think with them injuries, them linebackers, I really like Noah Fant here. I think a Noah Fant touchdown tonight, an anytime touchdown, is a bet that I'm going to be looking at tonight. I'm interested in that. I think Fant's in a good spot to have a good game, and Sutton's in a really good spot. Now Johnson, on the other hand, for Cleveland, I think that's the interesting call here. So, are they going to really, how are they going to distribute the ball in the backfield back there? Are they going to use Johnson? Are they going to maybe kind of wean in some other guys here? So it'll be interesting to kind of see what they do. But I think Keenum's is going to throw it. And I will say that generally when a backup comes in, I feel like they always look to maybe the third and fourth guys, because those are the guys they're throwing to in practice all the time. So maybe a guy like Higgins tonight is a guy that gets a little extra love just because of this, the backup situation. And Higgins, obviously, he takes back seats to OBJ and Landry and those guys in practice. So I think maybe that combination could be in play tonight too.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can go with this one. So weather-wise, the chance for some rain. We know it's kind of gray and cloudy here in the Metro Detroit area tonight. So we'll see. Doesn't look like much wind at all. Kind of like a 20-mile-an-hour wind here. So that's interesting as far as kickers go, things like that. So keep an eye on that. But I don't disagree with some of the guys you mentioned. I want to add Demetric Felton to the mix here, a guy that can play some running back, can catch the ball, can play some wide receiver too. This guy caught a ton of passes in college. So I know a lot of people were focused on Dearness Johnson as the big pickup in season long, and I think that's the way to go. But in these showdown contests, Scott, you got to get a little bit different. So I think Felton could certainly help you do that for the Browns. They may even give John Kelly some carries here. So that's interesting. One that I'm intrigued with, I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on yet. I'm debating this. So let me get your input here. John Brown, old Smokey Brown, is only $200 on DraftKings. It was elevated from the practice squad. Now, we saw the same thing last week. Didn't get any targets here. But we know a guy like John Brown, it only takes one. So we don't necessarily need the $200 guy on this slate, but it's always a good idea to leave some salary on the table here. So we're not getting Jerry Jeudy back. I know there was some anticipation that he would return this week. Likely see him back in the mix next week. So I like Cortland Sutton just like you. I like Noah Fant just like you. Can John Brown be a thing here tonight? Definitely a long shot. That's why he's $200, but one that I think I'm going to plug into some lineups here tonight.
Yeah, that's an interesting call. I like it. I mean, those are the guys that made all we need is one play, right? I mean, one play, you're in a great spot. And you know it too. After that play happens, now you're rooting for all the chalky guys to hit, and that's a good thing about Showdown. You only got to kind of differentiate yourself with maybe one spot, and if you get that low-owned spot and we get that big play, then it's time to get ready to have a nice lunch the next day, like I like to say.
There you go. So best bet. We got any bets in this game that you like, Scott? We're sitting at Cleveland -1 here, low total at 41. Both teams 3-3 against the spread, as you see on the graphic there. So, anything stand out? Let's open up best bets here. I know we were going to save it for the end, but while we're here, let's just cover it. So, where are you leaning here on this game?
Well, I will say, just like I said, I do like a Noah Fant anytime touchdown. I wanted to get the current odds. It's actually 3-1 right now. So, I really like Noah Fant to score a touchdown tonight. And I'm going to go with the over in this one here, 40.5 points. So I really like this game to be higher scoring than everybody thinks. And like I said, I think Fant's going to get in the end zone maybe once, maybe even twice, but we only get paid once. So that's all I need.
You can always bet to score 2 touchdowns as well. There's always those out there. So those are fun as well. If you have a real strong lean on something, you can get some nice odds on those. I'm going to go with Denver. 28-1. There you go. So we'll throw that in there. But I'm going to go Denver in this one. Case Keenum is more than capable, no doubt. But there's so many questions on this team. I think Denver defense is another one you can go to tonight in Showdown. I generally don't play a ton of defenses, but I think that could be an option here. I think Keenum going to turn the ball over here a few times, trying to be overly aggressive if there is any wind, things like that. So I see a +2 on Denver at BetMGM. So generally 1.5 at most shops right now, but +2. So I'll lock in Denver +2 as a best bet here tonight. Don't even hit a little bit on the money line. It's going to be minimal at just +2, but I think Denver wins this game tonight. So that's the route I'm going. I'm going to see if I can pull out a John Brown touchdown bet out of somewhere, and maybe that'll pay me off some big odds. But I'm putting my chips on John Brown to do something here for this Denver team. I don't think they'd keep activating him unless you're going to use him. I know you need depth, guys like that, but is he any worse than Kendall Hinton, some of these other guys that are running out there? I have a hard time believing that. So John Brown, my deep touchdown call of the night. So Scott, we were talking what is it?
He's 13-1. I just looked it up for you. 13-1, John Brown.
I was hoping for a little something in the 20s, man. And John Brown is at 13-1. I guess that's all right. It's not quite a Tom Brady 39-1, but 13-1 will do. Now, we were talking pre-show and an interesting discussion as far as looking ahead at potential Super Bowl championship. So we had a little contest. Let's find a Super Bowl champion that's not one of the obvious ones. So your top 5 favorites right now, and these are courtesy of the FanDuel Sportsbook, Tampa Bay +550, Buffalo +600, Kansas City +750, Baltimore +850, and the Rams +950. So not one of those. Kind of a longer shot here, Scott. So I'm going to let you open it up here. So basically 10-1 or higher. Do you see any value right now in the markets that people can go out and take advantage of?
You know, like you said, when we were talking about it, they were interesting. I mean, Green Bay, your Packers are 12-1 odds. I mean, I don't mind that at all. I think we obviously know they're going to probably win our division, so they're going to probably have a home game in the playoffs. So I don't mind that at all. And then you got the Titans, I think, at 22-1. I mean, they got a decent, if they can get that defense short up a little bit, I don't mind that at all. I think that's pretty good odds, 22-1. But the Cowboys are also 12-1 with Prescott. I think the Cowboys are playing some decent type football. So, yeah, I think those are a few here that I kind of like the odds on. But, yeah, for me, I thought the Titans at 22 was pretty high. But if I had to pick one and only could bet one, I'd probably be the Cowboys at 12-1.
Yeah, there's some decent ones here. Like you said, Green Bay, I don't need to go into that. You guys know I love me some Packers. That's my team. Grew up in Milwaukee area. So that one at 12-1, I think there's decent value there. Can they finally get over the hump? They keep going to NFC championship games and just can't seem to get it done. So I think that's a good one there. Also in that 22-1, you mentioned the Titans. I like the Chargers at 22-1. Now, I know that you come crashing back down to earth. Going to Baltimore, tough loss there, but I'm not ready to write them off yet. I believe in Justin Herbert. I believe in Brandon Staley and his coaching ability. That defense has certainly had some holes, but they've also played well. So I think that's a team that could really get it together. And one a little bit longer shot I think could pay off is San Francisco plus 4,500. 45-1 on the Niners. Their schedule is it's the easiest schedule in the league. You know, they have a bunch of cupcake matchups here. Eventually, we're going to have Trey Lance taking over this offense. Eventually, George Kittle is going to be healthy. They're going to figure out who their running back is. I believe in their coaching as well. I think this defense is much better than they've shown so far. So 45-1 on San Francisco is another one I really like here.
Ooh, that's 45-1. If you hit that, those are ones when you make that bet in Vegas on your way home for $100 and you bet that and you're going to win, 4,500. Those are the ones that you go back and get. You're happy to get on a plane and go back and get. So, yeah, I like those kind of bets. I mean, those are the bets that, like I said, it makes it fun. Actually, a few years ago, I was in a similar spot when the Super Bowl was here. I think the Steelers literally had to win their last 6 games to even have a playoff shot. And then they ran the table as a low seed in the playoffs and end up winning the Super Bowl. And I had bet on them, and they were like 20-some-to-1. And when I was leaving Vegas, and I actually got lucky, got to go to the Super Bowl, and I had the ticket in my pocket, and it ended up being a winner. And a couple weeks later, I flew back out there and got my money. It was great. I'll never forget that. It was a fun experience. But yeah, I like this is a good time of year. We can kind of gauge what's going on. I like you said, Trey Lance, they're going to change quarterback. Now all of a sudden that's an upside type situation that could really blossom and boom. You never know. Like it's an unknown that does have a lot of upside. So at 45-1, I mean, that's a decent call. And like you said with the Chargers, does that defense get it together? I mean, we see the Chiefs struggling. We'll see what happens with some of the matchups and the pairings. But I like the 22-1 odds. I mean, definitely, it's something that could easily happen. We like Herbert. Eckler's decent. I think they do have a decent defense, but you never know. There's guys could be added here late in the season going on that could help. We've seen that happen a few times. Like Tampa added Fournette, stuff like that. You get different guys that are maybe falling off favor. Like we see it here in Detroit with Taylor Decker. Maybe Taylor Decker gets traded to one of these teams here that really could use a boost in the offensive line. And I mean, imagine him. I mean, we've seen who's a big offensive lineman I'm thinking of that just got injured for Tennessee. Their big lineman. Is it?
Luan.
Yeah. Like, I mean, what if Taylor Decker goes over there? Now he's, I mean, that helps out Tennessee. I really like that kind of shit. So there's a lot of stuff that could happen. If we can get on it ahead of time, man, like you said, it's great value.
Yeah, so I like that one as well. Those are my three favorites. Chargers, Green Bay, of course, and San Francisco at 45-1. I like that one a lot. So let's take a look at some of the updated news in the NFL. We mentioned Teddy Bridgewater going to play tonight. No worries there. Again, no Jerry Jeudy returning for the Broncos tonight. So that plays into my John Brown play. We'll see if he's able to do anything here tonight. A lot of rumors going around Deshaun Watson. Came up yesterday, a trade to Miami potentially a three-way trade with Washington, getting Tua. Sounds like those rumors have kind of been squashed. We have Baker Mayfield going to have surgery after the season. So it sounds like he's going to try to play through this labrum issue. Obviously will not play tonight. We get the Case Keenum experience here for Cleveland. Tyreek Hill, another DNP here today as of Thursday. So we'll keep an eye on him, see if he's able to return. No Latavius Murray or Sammy Watkins for Baltimore at practice as of today. Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, Ricky Seals-Jones all return to practice today. So good news there. And T.Y. Hilton, 50-50 to play on Sunday nights. We'll have to keep an eye on that one as well. Don't know how many people are counting on T.Y. Hilton, Scott, but we'll keep an eye on it. And then locally, T.J. Hawkinson back at practice here for the Lions. So anything we missed in the NFL, any news you want to cover here? Well, you got something going on over there.
The T.Y., right? When he scores, doesn't he always go like this?
Yep, the T.Y., yes, sir.
I've done that a few times in DFS when he scored for me when he was a little bit more relevant than he is now, and I'd always stand up and do the TY with him. I mean, you got to have some fun.
Absolutely. So we obviously have our big Sunday show where we'll cover our favorite plays. I will not be here this week, but Beastie will be stepping in for me. But let's get a little quick preview of some of our favorite plays in the NFL before we get out of here, and then we'll wrap it up with our best bets here and finish off the day. So let's just go through quarterbacks. Who are you looking at here in week 7, Scott?
Well, just some of the quarterbacks I've been looking at here. It's, you got the one game with the really high total. You got 57, which is really a touchdown higher than every other game on the whole slate. So, you think to yourself, all right, is there any other quarterbacks other than Mahomes that I'm going to be looking at playing? But I'm kind of looking at this Philadelphia and Raiders game. I kind of like both quarterbacks, actually. We got Hurts and we got Carr. I think those guys are both going to be kind of sneaky. So just kind of looking at, stuff like that. Like I mentioned, that over-under got bumped up a little bit as the week's been going. It's really been the only one that the bettors have been betting up. So obviously a lot of people kind of feel the same way about what we got in front of us this week. But I mean, some other guys here at quarterback, you can obviously always look at a Tom Brady against the Bears. Is he just going to roll them up? That's something you can look at. And then Kyler Murray, I mean, he's going to have an easy matchup against Houston. But the question is are they going to, let him go out there, throw the ball around? And of course, we got Stafford playing the Lions. Are they going Are they going to roll up the Lions and score a bunch of points on the Lions? Which I think you and I kind of agree. I think they're going to. So McVay seems to be a guy that I think he's going to want to put it to Goff and kind of smirk at him across the field as they rolling up 40-some points on him, is my guess.
Love Stafford this week. He is definitely my favorite quarterback play of the week. It's, you can play Kyler, you can play Mahomes, you can play Lamar. I mean, those guys, it's almost automatic every single week. But how do you get a little bit different? I think you do it with Stafford in your DFS contest. Darrell Henderson, going to be very popular with good reason. The Lions are about the worst team in the league against the run. But Stafford paired with Kupp, paired with Woods, paired with both, maybe a mix in Higbee. I think he throws 4 or 5 touchdowns in this game. I'm with you. I think they're going to be full throttle on this team. He knows that team. He wants to do well. McVay is going to allow him to do well, and it sticks it to his old quarterback. I could see him like, look at my new toy here. Just lighten your ass up, Goff. So I love Stafford this week. So he's certainly one. And then you mentioned that Kansas City-Tennessee game. I like Ryan Tannehill. We haven't seen the big games out of him yet, but they're going to be forced to throw more. Derrick Henry can't have 35, 40 carries every single week. Can't score 3-4 touchdowns every single week. Eventually, it's going to be Tannehill's turn. So Kansas City has struggled a little bit with quarterbacks, especially rushing quarterbacks. Allowed the most rushing yards, second most rushing touchdowns allowed. So I think we finally get that big game out of Ryan Tannehill this week. So I think he'll be sneaky. Even in a high total game, I think a lot of people are going to go to Derrick Henry. I think Tannehill, a way to get different in that game. So a running back, Scott, what do you got here for week 7?
Well, the one that is obvious is Darrell Henderson against the Lions. Lions are just dead last. Can't stop a running back. They haven't stopped one yet. So, I mean, I get it. You got Stafford, but, I mean, they're going to put up all them points. Henderson probably fall in the end zone once or twice, and he's actually been on the receiving side of a few. So I kind of like him. And Chuba Hubbard against the Giants, I think that's a pretty good spot for him. Carolina's shown they're willing to give him the ball. So I really like that. And then I don't mind Fournette either this week against the Bears. I think they're going to be ahead. I think it's going to be a good game script for him. So I like Fournette over there.
I echo you on Henderson. Again, I think that whole offense, if they score 35 points, that's 5 touchdowns to go around. So I think Henderson probably scores multiple touchdowns, even with Stafford throwing a few touchdowns. So I like that. I agree on Hubbard. I think he's a fantastic play this week. Still too cheap. We know Carolina loves to feed their running back. No, he's not Christian McCaffrey, but he's seeing a lot of touches here in the Giants, an advantageous matchup for him. So I like that a lot. And I'm going to throw Josh Jacobs out there this week, a guy I know you're probably all frustrated with at some point in season-long DFS. He hasn't been great here, but 4 touchdowns in his 4 games here. Good matchup with Philadelphia, new coaching staff. I think this game, you mentioned it, I think we could get a shootout in that game. I think Jacobs a good option to probably score a touchdown, potentially 2 this week. So I'll add him to the list here as well. All right, over to wide receiver. Scott, what do you got?
Yeah, I think so far this week, obviously, if we think Stafford's going to do well, I know we keep mentioning Rams, but like we said, there's going to be a lot of touchdowns. And, obviously his favorite guy is Cooper Kupp. So we could obviously see 2 touchdowns. I think the upside's really there. I like Cooper Kupp to obviously score a touchdown. And then a guy I think some people might not really remember is Calvin Ridley. He struggled a little bit. He's popped. He's coming back. He gets Miami. So I like the spot that Calvin Ridley is in. And then I also like A.J. Brown in this game. I think, like you mentioned, Tannehill, if he's going to have a good game, he's going to throw it to his favorite guy. And I think the spot that A.J. Brown is in here really has a lot of upside as well. So, yeah, I like Kupp, I like Ridley, and I like me some A.J. Brown.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with all those plays. I love the pairing of Tannehill with A.J. Brown. So he was going to be one of mine. Devontae Adams, I think, is in a smash spot here at home against Washington. So there's a lot of value in DFS this week. Running backs, you can save some money. Tight ends, he's a premium spend for me. This Washington secondary has been atrocious, and Adams is money at home. I believe he has like 10 or 11 touchdowns over his last 10 games. Pretty much gets 9-10 targets every single home game he plays in. Just love the matchup for him this week, so I'll definitely be paying up for Devontae Adams. All right, let's finish it up. Tight end, Scott, what do you got for week 7?
Yeah, so far this week in tight end, like you mentioned, there's some value guys that we can look at. You got like the Ricky Seals-Jones. He still isn't even priced up in a game that I think we're going to see some points. He seems to be a guy that Taylor Heineke's been throwing to, so I don't mind that call. But obviously, you got Darren Waller. I think that game's going to be high scoring. I think Waller's going to be a guy that's going to benefit. I think they're going to use him a lot. So I like Waller in this game. And then Dallas Goedert too. We saw Ertz get traded. It's another guy in that game that I do really like without Ertz being there. I think he's going to be more and more involved, and I think we're still getting him at a cheap price until we see him blow up a couple weeks, and then he's probably going to be one of the higher priced tight ends, I'm going to assume.
I feel like Beastie over here, like you're looking at my notebook, taking all my notes, taking my guys, just looking at everything I'm writing down. I agree with you on Dallas Goedert. Did officially get activated off the COVID list. So I know there was a little bit of concern. Is he going to be here? This feels like, this Ertz was what held him back, and not in a bad way. They just were cannibalizing each other. So no Ertz there. Good matchup with the Raiders. Other side of that game, I think Darren Waller gets it going here again this week. Has had two brutal matchups with Chicago and Denver, both top 5 against the tight end so far this season. So Waller, I think, is in a good spot here again. You mentioned Ricky Seals-Jones as an option. And Mike Gesicki, been money for this Miami team. They're thin on receivers, so I think he's another guy that you can look at here this week. So, Scott, about time for us to wrap it up here for Thursday. We covered MLB, we covered NBA, we covered NFL. We took a look at some of the injuries. We covered Showdown slate. So we hit on a lot of stuff. Super Bowl champion odds. So we gave the people a lot, but we also want to end the show with our best bets for the evening. So baseball, football, basketball, whatever that you want to hand out, let's keep this train rolling. Let's stay hot here. What do you got for Thursday night?
Well, for Thursday night, like I said, I got a anytime Noah Fant touchdown, 3-1 odds. I really like that one. That's my favorite play in that game. I also like the over. A slight lean to the over in that game tonight over there in the NFL. And then looking at the baseball game with the Dodgers and Atlanta, we're going to have Max Fried against David Price. So I expect Fried to stay on the mound a little bit longer in Price. I think Dodgers are going to be playing, just swapping pitchers quite a bit, trying to play some matchups. But I'm going to go with the over 8 in this game. We've seen many times already in this series where there's just been that one inning where they've just went off and scored multiple runs. And thankfully, in the last few times, if you're over bettors, it's been in the 9th inning. So had to sweat it out with only 3 or 4 runs that one game. If it wasn't for that umpire with that missed call, that game should have been over. But ended up with 2 outs. They ended up getting it for us. But I still like the over in this baseball game. But my favorite bet tonight is the Noah Fant anytime touchdown.
All right, I'm going to give you 4 bets again. We'll see if we can duplicate last night. I'm going to agree on the over in the baseball game. I love that over tonight. Max Fried's been solid, no doubt. But I think the Dodgers are going to score some runs here tonight. That Atlanta offense is on fire. So give me the over there. I already mentioned my football best bet. I'm going to go with Denver +2 officially. I found that at BetMGM. So, again, a lot of 1.5s out there. So shop around a little bit. I like Denver +2. In the NBA, I'm going to go under in the Dallas-Atlanta game. So under 225, seeing that at FanDuel and BetMGM. Again, I like Luka. I like Trey. They're going to score, but I think these defenses, especially Atlanta, I think they're an underrated defense. So I'm going to go under 225 in that one. And then I'm going to go against my Bucks here. I think riding high off that win, big emotional win, opening night at home, the championship celebration. Now you got to go down to Miami without your point guard. And Miami, they're playing their first game of the year. I think Miami wins this one easily. I hate to say it here as a Bucks fan, but betting-wise, you can't just bet with your teams you like. You'll end up losing money that way. So I'm going to lock in Miami. -2 I'm seeing at a few spots here, including Bet River. So, again, I like the over tonight in the baseball game. The Denver Broncos +2, under 225 in the Hawks-Mavericks game, and Miami -2 against the Bucks. So, Scott, there you go. Get them in,
Lunch
and hopefully we're having lunch together tomorrow, celebrating the win. So, final thoughts for the people here. We got a lot covered here on a Thursday. Always fun talking with you guys. And Scott, what do you got for the people here to wrap us up for Thursday?
Yeah, just keep in mind, hey, if you're watching us on YouTube, that little subscribe button, hit that subscribe button there for us. We really appreciate that. Make sure you get over there, follow our Twitters, like Chris said, and then any start or sit questions, fire them on over, get them through our Twitter. Wherever you got to get them through, just get them through to us, and we'll be our best to get them on the show for you. But yeah, excited for the games tonight, and hopefully tomorrow we got another celebration like we had today.
There you go. Let's hope so. We got the cash flying from the ceiling again tomorrow. So that is the plan, and that is the daily plan here at Woodward Bets. So we want to be here for you guys and provide you guys with some winners, but most of all, we want to teach you kind of our process and how we do things to help make you a better DFS player, season long, better, whatever it may be. Both of us have been doing this for quite a long time and plan to keep doing it well into the future. So as Scott said, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Great way to help us out. Also, head over to Underdog Fantasy. Use our promo code WSN. Let them know that we sent you. You're going to get $10 free on a $10 deposit. And Twitter, at Woodward Bets. Submit your sit-start questions, and the guys will cover that on Friday. You're going to have BC and Scott tomorrow. I'm on a little bit of a hiatus this weekend, but we'll be back next week, and you'll be seeing more and more of me as softball season dwindles down. It's almost a full-time job in itself, but excited to be here, excited to get this thing rolling, and excited to have you guys on board here at Woodward Bets. For Scott, for our boy Sawyer, producing the show behind the glass, I am Bear saying salut. Best of luck tonight. Good luck with your bets, everybody. We are Woodward Bets. Thank you for listening, watching, however you're viewing us. We appreciate it, and we'll catch you tomorrow.